that injury could play a part in the result of the Alexander Usyk-Daniel Dubois fight. And he said, well, I'm just going to quote him from ES News. He said, I think it's going to end in a knockout. I think an 8th round knockout once they feel each other out and stuff like that. Dubois, I wouldn't say he's full of health injury-wise. I don't want to hear nobody making excuses. That's ironic. We just wish him the best for Saturday night in this opportunity of trying to gain the belts. All right, those are the words of the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. Now, this pertains to this alleged ACL injury for Daniel Dubois. As I spoke about in a previous video, I've seen no evidence of an ACL. I've spoken to 2 people in my Element group. One of them, shout out to Box Out, showed a picture of their ACL injury, and the knee was swollen massive. And they said they couldn't put any weight on it. Initially, the pain was absolutely excruciating. They fell to the ground in absolute agony. After a while, the pain subsides, but you just can't put any weight at all on the knee. And also, one of them did say, shout out to Benjo today, because he's another person in the Element group who has suffered this injury. He said that his knee has never been the same since. So if by some strange set of circumstances, Daniel Dubois actually did tear his ACL, even though it certainly didn't look like it to me in the fight, and he didn't mention any injury in the immediate interview post-fight. But if he did actually tear his ACL and he has had some type of surgery on it, then maybe Deontay Wilder's onto something here. Because, again, Benjo, who I spoke to in the Element group, says his knee's never been the same. I think he said he doesn't have the same rotation in it. It twists a lot more easily in terms of injures and gets hurt and stuff like that. And in a sport like boxing, that can be a problem, especially at heavyweight when there's so much weight on your joints. And here's another possibility. I'm just throwing it out there. There might not be any merit to it. Daniel Dubois coming in at 233 pounds, much lighter than normal, about at least 7 pounds lighter than normal, maybe 10 pounds. Could that be something to do with the injury, if there was an injury? Taking some weight off that knee so that he doesn't re-injure it. Just a possibility I thought I'd throw out there. Now, I said it's ironic that Deontay Wilder mentioned not making any excuses. Of course, Deontay Wilder made an unbelievable number of excuses after his second loss to Tyson Fury. He claimed that Fury had loaded gloves. I think he claimed that Fury had loaded gloves in the first fight, right? In the second fight, he claimed that his own corner man, Mark Breland, spiked his water, that the referee was in on it, or that the referee was drunk. He claimed the suit was too heavy. I mean, he was just making all sorts of ridiculous claims and excuses. He could not accept defeat. He's probably the most sore loser I've ever seen in boxing, Deontay Wilder. Unbelievable. So the irony of him saying, I don't want to make any excuses, or I don't want to hear nobody making excuses. That's precisely what he said. I don't want to hear nobody making excuses. What, even yourself, Deontay? You're still making excuses about the Tyson Fury fight. About the second and the third fights. So, yeah, the irony of all ironies there. But let's hope the injury in terms of, knees or ankles or anything like that plays no part in the Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois fight. We all want to see a satisfactory ending to this fight, rather than somebody being injured on an ankle or a knee. If it's an eye injury, fair enough. As long as it was caused by punches, no problem. That's part of the game. Yeah? I mean, I remember when Joe Joyce lost to Zheli Zhang, people were saying, it's a shame that Joyce had that eye injury because, he looked like he was maybe starting to tire Zhang out. Why is it a shame? It wasn't an accident. The reason he had that eye injury is because he was getting punched in the eye. That's the whole objective, to either render your opponent unconscious or punch them in the face or in the body enough times that they're not able to continue. And that's what happened. So it wasn't a shame at all. So if there's some type of injury in this fight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois like that, caused by punches, that causes it to be stopped, no problem whatsoever. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Deontay Wilder's prediction for the Alexander Usyk-Daniel Dubois fight. Who do you think wins this? I think Dubois got a better chance than most. I want to say about a 35% chance. So it wouldn't completely shock me if he won. And even if he doesn't win, I'm expecting him to do better than most people expect. I think that particularly early on, if he sticks it on Usyk, he can have a lot of success. But if he fights the way he did against Kevin Lerena, and he's going to stand off and look at him and try and have a jabbing contest like Frank Warren seems to think he should do, then I reckon it's going to be curtains for Daniel Dubois, and he will get overwhelmed quite quick, maybe within 5-6 rounds. So it all depends on how he wants to approach this fight. Hopefully, he does the former for the sake of us actually seeing a good spectacle rather than a one-sided drubbing. We all want to see a competitive fight, right? So hopefully we see something competitive, even if Daniel Dubois loses. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.